Hey there, Minnesota Vikings fans. Welcome to the Purple People Podcast, episode number 403. Only No Fans. I like that title, Adam. That is a clever play. That is a clever play on the 403 internet error.
Yeah, this is a joke I wish I wasn't making for several reasons, but I had to go for it. Why not, right?
You know, it lined up perfect. So I'm going to allow it. That's a good pun. It is a good pun. I'm joined by Adam Carlson this week.
I'm here. I've got my ABC written down in the corner. We've been trying to squeeze some shows in here and there, even though there hasn't been a ton going on in Vikings news. Maybe breaking the once per week thing, maybe stretching it out to 10 days or something like that. But
right.
I know that we still want to try to have some shows regularly just so we have things to talk about and we don't get out of the rhythm, out of the loop, and so that people still have something to listen to during their downtime.
And I am Kyle West. I forgot to introduce myself. See, I jumped right on into introducing and talking about Adam, and I forgot that I am here too.
They already know you. You're the celebrity of the group.
No, that's Kyle Smith, who is not with us this week. He is playing hooky in his part of the country. But he'll be back maybe next week.
It's always up to something.
We all rotate.
I hope so.
The three of us rotate in and out.
Yeah, we haven't had a show with all three of us in a little bit, but hopefully we'll get that going soon.
Well, you know what? We're getting closer to regular season, and once we get into regular season, we'll get back into the swing of things for sure.
But before that, we had a lot of weird news go on this week, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on. We got Scott Schwab in the chat here.
Hey, Scott.
Always nice to have Scott. Feel free to throw us some questions, comments, and all that, because we love that stuff. All right, so the first announcement that we all kind of figured was coming, and that I kind of alluded to last time on the show, is, as we said, with the title, Only No Fans, there will be no Vikings fans at the two home games for the Vikings to kick off the season. Those games against the Green Bay Packers and the Tennessee Titans will be played in an empty stadium, and I'm not sure how to feel about it. I know Kirk Cousins is fine with it. I know that Mike Zimmer hates it. So we've got some polarizing opinions on the squad.
What is Mike Zimmer's opinion? Why does he hate it?
He loves the advantage that defenses have at US Bank Stadium based on the crowd noise. I know I've been there in person several times, and I always get excited when crowd noise can contribute into a penalty on the offense when they're on the field, or miscommunications or things like that. So it makes me feel like a little bit more of the game when I'm there. That's why I know I love that noise. But I'm guessing that we're going to see a little bit of what we're seeing in the WWE these days, where the WWE is pumping in a little bit of crowd noise to help their broadcast, which they kind of have to. Otherwise, broadcasts would be very, very boring.
Well, and for wrestling in particular, I mean, if you can hear the guys call spots in the middle of a match,
right?
Because it's a silent arena, that kind of ruins the illusion. And a little bit can be said for if it was just a completely silent stadium and you can completely hear. I know you weren't a fan of the XFL doing all the players being mic'd up and you could hear the calls and everything beforehand. You could completely hear every player making adjustments, and it would have to be on a 30-second delay to not catch players using foul language or anything else on the field. So they really need to pump in crowd noise just to help it feel more like a regular game.
Absolutely. So the Vikings are going to reevaluate their situation after those 2 weeks go by. Of course, it sucks that both the Packers and the Titans are both playoff teams, both teams that can be very dangerous, and having a crowd there at US Bank Stadium for those games would have been a nice advantage that they won't not have now. That advantage won't be available.
Right on. Division rival Green Bay, you always want to have that home field advantage, and it sucks that the season opener you're not going to get that. But at the same time, I understand it. I personally don't think we're going to probably have fans at all for the whole season. But I am glad that
Well,
they're
the Kansas
taking it.
City Chiefs already announced they will have fans. They're
Really,
going 20% capacity, I believe.
I guess it's just going to be a per state per team choice.
So yeah, this is interesting. It's something really interesting to watch, and I don't know how all this is going to shake out. I don't know if fans are going to be able to sue the NFL if they go to a game and catch corona.
What about season?
It's just really questionable.
What if you're a season ticket holder? You pay for so many home games, and then like you lose a couple home games. Do you get a refund? Do you get? How
It's
does
good,
that work?
good question. I don't know because I'm not a season ticket holder. I
Yeah,
probably would have already
I don't.
deferred to 2021 though if I
Right.
was. So
You're like, hey, Minnesota, give me a free jersey for every game that we miss.
oh, wouldn't that be something? But yeah, this is
Right.
gonna be interesting. It's a really really odd time to be an NFL fan, and with everything going on and how sports itself is in such limbo. But we're seeing the NBA succeed and flourish, and hopefully the NFL can
Hmm.
kind of follow in those footsteps a little bit. But as we're talking about Corona, the Vikings sent out a bunch of Corona tests that came back false positives. So those players were held out of practice until the tests went through again and they were all cleared. So they did end up making it back to practice, but having those false positives did set back a couple players. And I didn't get a list of names, but hopefully they weren't young players who were desperately in need of learning and education.
Right. And that was a league-wide issue too. I read up a little bit about that where they had some lab that they did kicked off a bunch of false positive tests. So it was nothing really that the Vikings did wrong per se. It was just something that kind of happened to the league on a number of teams that got hit with this very same issue. Uh, so I guess the positive is that it's affecting everyone kind of the same. Uh, every team is having to deal with this unusual set of circumstances. So
It's true.
you just make the best of it.
Look at Sergio with his Wheaties box cover there. That's pretty neat.
I like that. That's cool.
I can dig that. Welcome, Sergio. Nice to have you here.
Mhm.
But yeah, you definitely have to take everything seriously. So I understand them pulling the players from practice until they can get things figured out.
Right.
Now,
Right.
Daniil Hunter missed several practices. I believe today was his sixth consecutive missed practice. I haven't read anything up on his status, and I don't know what's going on with him. Do you know anything, Mr. West?
I haven't heard. I know that he's missed practice, but I don't know the reason why.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch how that works out because,
Hmm.
of course, Daniil Hunter is a very important part of this offense or the Vikings defense, and his pass rush just keeps getting better and better as he evolves. So, got to keep an eye on him.
See if I can find anything really quick here. Details of injury still unknown. Well, that's from the Viking Age. So that was posted a couple days ago. So I guess we really still haven't heard any official news as to why he's out. If it's a precaution, it could just be a precautionary thing too. He could actually just not be, and he couldn't not actually be injured.
That's true, and it's fine if he needs a little bit of extra time for whatever because it's not like he's a rookie or someone who needs to acclimate to the NFL level or anything like that or needs a ton of instruction on the field. So if he needs that little bit of time to get his head together or get healthy and
Yeah,
get
he'll be
back
he'll be
on the
good to he'll
training,
be good to go.
yeah, I'm not too worried there yet. But I have been hearing a lot of really great things about rookie cornerback Cameron Dantzler.
Whew.
Now, Twitter's been going kind of nuts about him because he's made some really nice pass breakups, had some nice coverage, and honestly, Mike Zimmer praised him. And it's not too often you get a little bit of praise from Mike Zimmer.
No, when you crack the old Mike Zimmer nut there and get the positive praise from him in the media, yeah, that's always a big deal. The clip that I posted up on the Facebook page, that's made the rounds on social media, where he just absolutely goes up and just high points and hauls in that interception. That's a
Oh,
really
yes.
beautiful play. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. That's what you like to see.
Yeah, it's nice to hear rookies standing out. KJ Osborne having a real nice rookie year as well, making some nice catches in
Yeah.
camp. And of course, he's got special team skill, which should help lend him even better to a roster spot. These young guys are working hard to get paid, and hopefully we can see some of them become really solid contributors, whether it be on offense, defense, or special teams.
We talked about it, Adam, how this draft class was just absolutely loaded with talent. And I think you're seeing solid contributions just all across the board so far in training camp. You got Justin Jefferson out there making plays. I know Kirk Cousins
Oh yeah,
connected with him a couple times on a couple deep passes. Like you said, you've got third, fourth round guys out there making plays. Ezra Cleveland, he's working at guard and tackle. I read who did I read? Someone predicted that he's going to be starting at some point in this season if they don't start him immediately because he's just too
I've been saying it since the start.
right. He's just too talented to not have out there on the field for this team. So I'm excited for this rookie class.
Welcome, Michael Cambria. Nice to have you here as well. Got a nice group of our usuals hanging out in chat,
Yeah.
which is nice. Feel free to shoot us over some questions, comments, or whatever. Always fun times.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about talking about something controversial, Mr. West?
Oh, go for it. What are we talking about?
The hottest free agent in the world, I guess, right now. Thaddeus Moss.
Des Bryant? Oh, Thaddeus Moss. We are really pretty good at tight end, and I don't see any reason why Minnesota would need Thaddeus Moss.
Apparently,
there's no
Vikings fans want him more than anything.
There's no sorry, Vikings fans, we don't need him. There's no fit unless you want to stick him on the practice squad. Sure. I don't mean to knock the practice squad.
I get the appeal, the legacy.
I do too.
I understand it.
Oh yeah.
But these aren't the same player. This isn't the same generation. You've got to evaluate him based on his production, and if he couldn't make it, where was he? Washington?
Yeah, Washington. Yep.
Yeah, he couldn't cut it over in Washington, and honestly, with the competition at tight end in Minnesota, he would have an even tougher time of making a roster.
Yeah, and Randy Moss is my favorite Minnesota Viking of all time. I get it. I mean, I get it. It would be awesome to see Thaddeus Moss come to Minnesota and just absolutely ball. I mean, like that's a cool story. However, I just don't. I don't see that. I've heard a lot of really good things about Irv Smith Jr. I know Kyle Rudolph in today's practice opened it up by hauling in a nice tough catch. There was some praise for Irv Smith. Who's the other tight end? Is it Tyler Conklin?
Yep.
Yeah, Tyler Conklin. I've heard some good praise coming from him too. So I really just feel like Minnesota is set.
Yeah, he was signed by Washington, and he was subsequently released a little while later. I think he will get a look somewhere else. I don't think it's going to be Minnesota.
Oh, he's worthy of a practice squad signing somewhere in the league. I mean, I don't mean to knock the practice squad guys, but I mean they're kind of, I don't want to say irrelevant, but I mean you can sign a guy and just see if he'll develop. That's the whole point of the practice squad. So yeah, someone will sign him.
Things are going to get interesting now because we might see some teams make some moves towards getting Anthony Harris. Now that injuries are starting to happen around the league, one of the biggest ones might be the Cleveland Browns, who lost Grant Delpit and may need to search for some kind of safety to figure out what's going on with them.
Yeah, there's the connection with, Kevin Stefanski, former Vikings coordinator, offensive coordinator, now the head coach in Cleveland. So even though he's the offensive guy, he would definitely be familiar with Anthony Harris just from being in the building and knowing the kind of player and character that he is. So like you said, they've got the injury. That would make sense. I don't know if Minnesota, well, I suppose if they're able to get one of those blow me away deals that involve a couple first round picks
Right.
and who knows what else.
And
I
then
mean,
get
of
a starting
course,
caliber safety back.
yeah,
Because I don't see them. Their depth at safety right now is not good. Past the starters, the Vikings don't have much that I'd feel comfortable with being on the field in a starting capacity.
yeah, they really don't either. I would prefer to not trade him. I like the combination of him and Harrison Smith out there on the field. So I say that unless
But
you
if you
just get
can't sign
that,
him to a long-term deal and you don't see that happening down the road, and you get a decent deal, you do almost have to take it.
yeah, that's very true. That's why I said it's got to be one of those blow me away deals where you're getting just like absolutely an insane amount of picks or players in return. Then you do it. But it's like you've really got to have that offer on the table, I think. I agree with Michael on that comment.
Yeah, Michael's right on that. The tight
Mhm.
ends in Minnesota are probably better than Moss, and that signing him isn't necessary. We've got Fire Breather Hills here saying he's able to catch a show live, which is always nice. We got Scott Schwab here talking about Alexander Madison, buying stock in him because of the Cook drama, lesser team practicing, and off-season coaching. No preseason, second season, he'll be good. Now, I don't think there's any question that Madison's going to be good. One
Mhm.
thing that you've probably seen if you're a regular watcher of the Purple People podcast is us talking about how much we love Alexander Madison. I like that he can be eased into his role, whatever it might be, as his career goes on. And him playing behind
Mhm.
Cook right now is probably the best thing for him. Well, as we've seen from in college, he can take on that big role. He can be that bell cow back that can carry the ball 30 times a game if needed. But it's rather better to be able to change the pace with him and Cook, keep opposing defenses looking, keep them on their toes, make changing things up. And yeah, I still think Madison's going to be real good, but I don't see Cook being sidelined for or missing snaps if it's not by his choice or injury or something like that, because the Vikings really love Dalvin Cook and what he brings to the team.
Don't forget about Mike Boone, who looks absolutely jacked up. Like he's ready to go
He
out there and
does.
just, yeah, he looks like he's ready to run through a brick wall. You, Fire Breather, that's awesome. You do not want to hear a mixtape from me, though.
You got to drop. It's going to be
although,
fire. I was watching
although,
an old episode of. Do you remember the old "You Don't Know Jack" TV game show?
yeah,
They had
yeah,
the weirdest contestants on there, and one of them was this guy who said he's an amateur rapper, and he did the classic "I'm insert name here, and I'm here to say it." And it's like anytime you start off a rap like that, you know it's not going to be good.
hmm I
That's
do
just not good at
know.
all.
I do know almost the entire opening to Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice. So should you guys choose to hear it, that could happen at the end of the show. You'll have to let us know in the chat room.
It's possible,
Yes,
maybe. Dave Hickey says we got the best safety duo in the game, and if you're going by Pro Football Focus, you're absolutely right.
we really do. We do have the best
You'll still
safety
see people
duo in
argue
the
it, but
league.
I won't argue it. I'll say
Right.
that's right on.
We do. I say we do, and that's why it would be tough to break them up, but it is
And
business.
considering having such a young group of cornerbacks, having two safeties that know what they're doing and play at a high level, I wouldn't want to replace that at all right now.
Yeah.
No way. Michael Cambria says Cook will practice. The only question with him is his durability. And
hmm
yeah, that's kind of been the question with him since he arrived in Minnesota. We know he can
Right.
catch. We know he can run. We know he's got that home run speed. We know he's got the power to play, just power through people. But can he stay on the field? Can the Vikings work out a deal with him? I don't know. That's what we'll have to wait and see.
That's why I love me some Dalvin Cook, but it's really difficult to sell me on long-term, big-time contract for Dalvin Cook, just because of that durability question that we still really haven't answered for him.
That's true. I do want to give a shout out to the Daily Norseman because they had what I think is one of the best Vikings themed titles for an article that I've seen in a long time. It says Dance Dance Revolution, 3rd round pick turning heads at Vikings camp. Good old Cameron Dantzler.
I like that.
I like that a lot too.
Yeah.
Mike, according to the Minneapolis Star Tribune, Mike Zimmer calls the NFL's decision to allow different crowd sizes unfair. You were talking about that a little bit, Mr. West.
Yeah, it's I kind of agree with Mike Zimmer on that one. I would like it to be kind of like uniform. For, like, I wish the league would have like a uniform policy for like everyone, but that's also really hard to implement because different states are obviously going to have different mandates in different cities, and one city, Minneapolis, might have a mask mandate, another city might not. So that makes it really difficult to put like a league, like a league-wide thing in it. It really is just going to have to be on a per team basis, unfortunately. It does create situations where maybe you have more of a home field advantage that other teams don't have. I do think they should look into artificial crowd noise to kind of like even the playing field across. I'm sure they will come up with something similar to that for a solution anyway.
Yeah, I'd like to see consistency. It's fine right. No matter what it is, as long as it's across the board. Good. Yep. All right, so the CBS Sports released their all NFC North team, and it's kind of interesting. Which Vikings do you think made the nod on offense, Mr. West?
Kirk Cousins.
No.
No Kirk Cousins. Well, Dalvin Cook.
No,
then.
Nope. Dalvin Cook is there.
Okay. Well, Adam Thielen.
Nope.
No Adam Thielen. Well, fuck this list.
No, the 3 wide receivers are Devontae Adams, Kenny Golladay, and Allen Robinson.
Wow. I don't.
That's interesting, isn't it?
That is interesting. I don't agree with that at all. I don't know how much you listen to Pat McAfee, but he was talking about Adam Thielen and just giving him absolutely all the credit in the world, calling him one of the top receivers in the league, just based on his ability to run routes and just how crisp he is at it. And just he consistently is able to get himself open and make plays on the ball. So I don't agree with Adam Thielen not being on this list at all.
Well, at least Kyle Rudolph got the top spot of the tight ends, because next best is T.J. Hawkinson, and honestly, he was disappointing for Detroit.
Yeah, he was. I wanted him in Minnesota, but he didn't exactly light it up for Detroit.
Not much of a surprise. No Vikings offensive lineman made the list.
No.
You could make an argument for Brian O'Neill in place of Taylor Decker, but it's interesting to see also 2 offensive linemen from Detroit and 3 from the Green Bay Packers on the team. None from Minnesota or Chicago. Quite interesting. Defensive front, the defensive linemen and the linebackers. Who do you think made it from Minnesota, Mr. West?
It's got to be either Kendricks or Barr.
Which one?
I'm going to go with Kendricks.
Kendricks, yep.
Yeah, yep.
And, of course, Danielle Hunter.
Oh, yeah, Danielle Hunter, yep. That's a given.
Can't miss him either. The backfield, of course, they had 1 Minnesota safety, and it's Harrison Smith. But, of course, they included Eddie Jackson as the other safety. No Vikings corners, because, of course, all the Vikings star corners left the team.
Terrible.
They're no longer here.
And we're also terrible last year.
So I thought that team from CBS Sports, Jared Dubin, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, there were some interesting picks on that one. The
absence of Thielen is tough.
That one is really, I just disagree with completely. what they do for who
Now
they
I
do for
know Kenny
quarterbacks.
Galladay has made some massive plays and he's very good. Devonta Adams is a star in the league. I got
Right.
it. Allen Robinson's an absolute monster, but he doesn't have a proven quarterback to throw him the ball yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Quite an interesting list indeed.
I wonder what the reasoning for not including Thielen on there would be. Like,
It'd be fun to sit
what
down
is
with him and ask, wouldn't it?
yeah, like what would he need to do different to be included on that list? I guess
We
I don't.
talked in a previous show about the NFL Top 100. Kendricks at 83, 64 for Harrison Smith. Is that disrespectful, Mr. West?
Um, uh, no, I don't think so. You know, considering how many players play in the league, just to be considered on the top 100, like total of everyone, I think is a pretty big accomplishment in and upon itself. So you can always argue
Now, I do think
about,
Kendricks is great, but for this to be his first appearance on the top 100 and be at 83, I'll say okay. All right.
yeah. I mean, we're biased Vikings fans. Of course, I think he should be higher than that. I also think 64 is probably a little too low for Harrison Smith. I think Harrison Smith should probably be higher than that as well too. But just the fact that you're getting named as one of the top 100 players in the NFL is it's an accomplishment. You can argue about moving pieces around and whatever,
Right.
and that's fair. That's fine. But you just look at just the amount of players in the league total, and I think that it's a sign of respect, even if you don't necessarily think they're in the correct order.
Right. They're not thinking about the placement. These are voted on by players. So
Right.
if you make the list already, that's a pretty big honor.
I
Fire
think so
Breather, of
too.
course, has some love for Irv Smith Jr. And who doesn't? The kid's showing a lot of potential. He's got great hands and catch the ball. Really good at the yards after catch, which is something that Kyle Rudolph got a little better at last year, but something that we can still see more of from the tight
Right.
ends. And we actually had Michael Cambria here kind of talk about the production at receiver and how he thinks Adam Thielen's really going to miss having Diggs on the other side of him. And I will say that I'm not 100% sure. He will miss him, of course, because they were a great duo. They had a lot of things established.
Mm-hmm.
But Justin Jefferson, he has some great route running, and I think that he'll be able to draw not as much attention, but maybe close to a similar amount. If he can start making some plays, come out and in the first couple weeks have some nice catches, pick up some yards. It'll take a little while for him to establish himself, but once he does, I think Thielen will be able to get a little bit more of that one-on-one attention instead of just being manhandled like a number one receiver.
Right, because I expect that Thielen is going to have a lot of double coverage with Diggs being
Oh,
gone.
yeah.
So that's going to open up opportunities for the other receivers on the team to make plays. From what I've seen of Justin Jefferson, I think that he should be able to take advantage of that. I think he'll do well. I honestly think that Diggs is going to miss Thielen more than Thielen is going to miss Stephon Diggs. What do you think about that, Adam?
I don't know. I think Diggs is going to realize that the grass is not greener somewhere else, and what he had in Minnesota was quite good. He might not have gotten the targets he wanted, but he had some big plays, got some nice touchdowns,
Right.
and he had a quarterback that can accurately throw the ball down the field. He had teammates that he played well off of. I just hope that he can be happy where he's at.
Right on.
We've got a Teddy question.
Teddy, I got my Teddy shirt on today too.
Is Teddy going to start for the Panthers? I don't know. I hope so.
I mean, that's what they signed him for, right?
I really, really do hope so. Let's see. Fire Breather here's got a question about the depth chart or comment. I looked at the depth chart. Elfline first at left guard. Ezra Cleveland at third. Please tell me this early and Elfline will be benched. Will we ever have a good offensive line? I actually do have an update on this.
Oh.
The Vikings have been trying to get Pat Elfline work at right guard, which is a more natural position for him, and it will limit his ability where he was weak last year in pass protection. So he'll be able to do more run blocking on the right side, and he'll have the benefit of having Brian O'Neill on his right. So they're going to have Pat Elflein work out at right guard, and then they're going to have an open competition for left guard. And that's where I believe Ezra Cleveland is going to walk away with this competition. So yeah, there are some other bodies in the competition for left guard, but I just don't see any of them beating Ezra Cleveland out. He's just too good.
Yeah, and I love Ezra Cleveland. He was talking about was it tacos or burritos during his press conference?
Oh yes.
So yeah, he's entertaining for an offensive lineman as well too. But no, I'm a big fan of Ezra Cleveland. He's actually, I think, my favorite player from the rookie the last draft. I'm just excited to see what Ezra is going to bring to this team.
Fire Breather says that Diggs has a running back as a quarterback. I won't go that far. Allen might not have the accuracy down the field, but he's not a terrible quarterback. Once he works a little bit more on his decision making and a little bit more of his downfield accuracy, he could be a really good quarterback in the league. But yeah, as we've seen as Vikings fans, he can run with the football and he can jump over players, and I don't like to see any of that happen against Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
We got more Justin Jefferson talk here. Justin Jefferson has those hands to catch the ball. Pause. LOL. He does have those hands.
Yeah.
Got to have those hands. So what do you think? Is Justin Jefferson going to be the second coming of Treadwell, just as Michael Cambria hopes that it doesn't happen?
Well, obviously, I hope not. I think all Vikings fans are hoping that he is not the second coming of Laquan Treadwell. Doesn't appear to be the case. We're already seeing more of a splash from him in training camp than really what we ever seen from Treadwell.
I'd still love to see Treadwell succeed because I have nothing against the kid. I'd like to see him get better and succeed. He was a hard worker.
He was a good kid. He was a hard worker. I don't really understand why it didn't quite work out. I had read some comments in an article I dug up that was kind of just like what went wrong with Laquan Treadwell kind of piece. And they were saying that maybe he didn't necessarily focus on the right aspects of training. They said that Zimmer called him out for staying late in the stadium and running the steps, running up and down the steps, and how that didn't necessarily translate to what he needed to do to have success on the field. So hopefully getting a whole fresh start, having some experience in the league, he can focus on what he needs to focus. And I would like to see him, have success for Atlanta. Obviously, I want Justin Jefferson to have more success for Minnesota, but that's because we're biased Vikings fans.
And apparently, Laquan Treadwell's taking that same attitude to Atlanta because I've been seeing reports of him staying till the end of practice, working hard, doing everything the coach asks him to do. And that's what you love to see from a player. I'd love to see it when he was in Minnesota. Sadly, again, it didn't translate into production on the field, so that he had to move on. But I hold no bitterness against him, and I wish him well.
Yeah. I'm kind of over the whole being absolutely as salty as possible at draft picks that don't work out, unless they're an absolute jerk like what Matt Khalil was. Like, okay, right. Matt Khalil and his attitude earned us to kind of hate on him a little bit, but why am I going to sit here? I'm not going to sit here and absolutely trash Laquan Treadwell. I don't know.
No. Fire Breather wants to give some props to Olabisi Johnson for rising up and being the team's second wide receiver right now. And BC has really showing the ability to make some plays on the field, some solid route running. And he does seem to have a little bit of a connection with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
So if he was able to be the team's number 3, eventually with Justin Jefferson hopefully supplanting him for being the number 2 wide receiver, or maybe we'll finally get to have that 1-2 combination again, like the Vikings had with Diggs and Thielen.
Now you kind of froze up, Adam. Well, I don't know if I froze up or if Adam froze up, so if someone in the comments can let me know, that would be awesome. I guess I will just go ahead and fill time and see what happens here. So we're talking about BC Johnson. I did hear him make the comment, I believe it was in his press conference or something like that, that the game had slowed up considerably for him, that he felt that he was having an easier time out on the field, just, remembering plays, running routes, doing all the little things that are difficult to do. And I definitely did lose Adam, so you guys are stuck with me right now, and uh, I don't know how to run the StreamYard thing that we do. So we are just going to hope that Adam can join back. But BC Johnson was talking about how the game has slowed down for him. So yeah, I am glad to have him as the wide receiver too, or part of whatever rotation the Vikings figure out. Adam was also the notes guy. So I literally have no notes sitting right here either. Uh, so Scott or anyone else out there in the chat, what do you guys want to talk about? You got any Vikings info you guys want to chit chat about?
Sorry about that. I apparently lost my internet connection.
Hey, I was able to fill time while you were gone.
Thankfully, it didn't last too long. I was able to get back in here. That's one thing I love about the StreamYard. Before, if we were recording a show and one of us lost connection, we were just screwed. We'd have to release the show in parts. Remember that?
Right? Yeah, I do.
Oh, it was awful.
Although I was telling everyone, I'm like, you better hope that Adam comes back because I don't know how to work the StreamYard.
Oh, good times, good times. So, Michael Pierce, of course, opted out for this year. The Vikings will have him under contract for next year. Michael Pierce, in his free time now, since he's not playing football, he is taking time and he's retooling his body, he says. He's taking a lot of time for himself to read, reflect, and he's learning to play piano. Isn't that kind of interesting? Seeing that big fella sitting down in front of a piano and playing some tunes, I love it.
Yeah. No hard feelings. No hard feelings for any player who opted out this year. I 100% understand it.
For sure, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I don't really have a ton else for this week. We can talk about last week. We talked about Trey Waynes getting hurt, and that sucks for Cincinnati. Now, Mackenzie Alexander, who was also signed by Cincinnati, his father is missing.
Yeah, Tom Pelissero tweeted that out, and you can find that. They're looking for, if anyone has any information about that. That's a sad story. Hopefully they're able to find him. Nothing bad happened.
Absolutely. So he left Bengals facility, and he's out doing everything he can for his dad, and I totally understand that. Of course, our thoughts are with him, and hopefully his father can be found happy, healthy, and whatever, because I just know how I would feel if I was in that situation, and I'd be terrified.
Right on. There was another news story. I should have probably saved it.
Yeah, probably should have.
Someone had like open heart surgery. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, but we talked about that last week.
Yeah, it was Cam Smith.
Vikings Cameron Smith is going to miss the season because he had to have a procedure done on his heart, and it was found while they were conducting tests for COVID. So,
well, hey, there you go. Yeah, this was
sort of a blessing.
This was the quote that I had from Mike Zimmer. Cam Smith had successful surgery yesterday. We're happy about that. They were able to repair the heart, and he's in good shape. So that's what you want to hear. Glad they were able to catch it before it turned into potentially something worse.
So very, very true.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I don't have a ton else for this week. Actually, I have nothing else. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? A nice 40-minute show went by pretty fast. I do want to take a minute to celebrate and thank all you guys who helped me out on Twitch, whether you swung in and watched a little bit of me playing Fall Guys or joined in some Jackbox games, because thanks to the community on Twitch, I was able to reach affiliate, and now on my streams, I get neat little emotes. I can accept bits and donations, and it's it opens up a world of possibilities for me on Twitch. So thank you to all you guys who stuck in, visited, subscribed, or did whatever you could. Of course, my Twitch is at MN Viking Zombie, which is the same thing as my Twitter. And I know a lot of you guys have me on Twitter, so I look forward to that. And feel free to tweet me on Twitter. If you want to play some Fall Guys with me, send me over a message. I'm on PC. Let's make it happen. Also, the Viking Age, lots of great stuff going on over there. They're always releasing really cool information, whether it's opinion pieces, news pieces, or whatever. I mean, whatever your Vikings fix is, they'll have something for you each and every day. So make sure to check that out. Undead Walking, we're getting closer to The Walking Dead coming back. Season 10 finale is coming October 4th, immediately followed by World Beyond. And then the next week, Fear the Walking Dead kicks up, and World Beyond will continue to air as Fear the Walking Dead goes on, with episodes of Talking Dead airing after that. So if you're a big fan of zombies, AMC Sundays starting October 4th, you got a nice 3-hour zombie block.
They have you covered, it sounds like.
I'm going to be very, very busy with the NFL season going on, and 2 zombie shows each week with Talking Dead. Oh, it's going to be hopping. Super hopping.
Right on.
Oh, let's see. One we got a question here. The proven wide receivers. Yeah, Thielen right now is the only one that we're sure is just absolutely talented. BC's showing some potential. We've seen some flashes from some other guys. Tajay Sharp showing some ability, but not with Minnesota, not in the system, not with the quarterback. So yeah, there's a lot of guys with a lot to prove, and we'll get to watch that all happen. Also, we've got Lions canceling practice due to the Jacob Blake shooting. I'll admit I don't know much about this topic, so I can't talk about it. Do you have anything you want to talk about it with, Mr. West?
Unfortunately, I really don't follow the news too much because the news is depressing currently right now. So I don't know. Yeah.
We got a PlayStation gamer here. Fire Breather beat The Last of Us 2. Can't wait for the HBO show.
I will be interested to see what they do with that HBO show. I have not played part 2, but I have beat part 1. It is an excellent game. I am currently playing Horizon Zero Dawn on the PS4, and that is just absolutely an excellent game. So you should check that one out next, Fire Breather.
I haven't played either Last of Us game, but I've heard so much about the story and the characters that it makes me interested in the show. And of course, I don't know if it's like an apocalyptic show. I know very little about what The Last of Us really is. And that alone makes me curious enough to want to watch it.
We'll have to chat about it sometime. But yeah, it'd be a little bit like Walking Dead, post-apocalyptic kind of show, Adam. It's going to be right up your alley.
Looks like Fire Breather already beat you to it.
Well, there you go.
Boom.
I'm cheap. I like to...
And Ghost of that.
Tsushima? I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm cheap, so I like to wait until games are like $10, $20 used before I buy a copy of them.
Absolutely, I'm that way too. Although I do have quite a few games on the Xbox Live, and if you're on Xbox Live, I wouldn't mind playing some Overwatch or Apex with you sometime. Again, MN Viking Zombie on the Twitter. Hit me up. You got something to promote, right, Mr. West?
I was just gonna say, we need to play some Fall Guys sometime, Adam. That would be fun.
Absolutely. Although you're on PlayStation where it's free, and I'm on PC, and I don't think it's crossplay
yet.
Are
they not? No crossplay yet? Well, hopefully they get that crossplay figured out.
If they do, we got to make that happen.
Right on. You can stream it on Twitch. You guys should check out my photography work. I don't know if Adam has the link that he can.
I don't.
On the screen or not. I don't know how any of that stuff works either. But just check me out on Twitter. You got my Twitter handle right there up on the screen. So that'll give you a link all to my photography stuff. I've added all kinds of new stuff. I'm adding new stuff daily. So go check it out. Lots of good stuff. Lots of new things that will be added all the time.
Yeah, you just shared some photos that you took that I thought were really, really cool.
Well, thank you.
So hopefully those will be uploaded down there really soon. Some nature pics, some
right. I got
some
yelled at.
Nice pictures of steps.
Right, I got yelled at by a crackhead today taking pictures. Because occasionally I have to wander through parts of town that are like, ugh. And yep, I was yelled at.
But that is all we have for this week. I do want to thank everyone who hopped in the chat here with us and interacted, everyone who watches, whether it's live or later, everyone who shares, likes, follows, subscribes, whatever, wherever you're at. We love doing this podcast, and the fact that we are still going 403 episodes later has got to say something, right?
3. That's a lot of episodes.
I may not be able to beat Super Mario Brothers 3 with my toes, but I sure love the Minnesota Vikings.
Right.
On that note, I do want to thank everyone once again. And remember, everyone, to stay classy, Minnesota.